Round 11 is here. I thought it was going to be a great time to take a chance to look at the trades that I've made for the year, do a little bit of a review on that, and just really speak about trades in general. How many you guys have used, how many I've used, where we're at this point of the season, what we probably want to use in the mid part, and then what we want to leave in the tank for the finish of the year. So I think that's going to be a really important video. I'm going to go through the strategy that I set forward at the start of the year, the one that I thought was ideal, and how it would work dependent on how your team started. And then as I said, you can really just work it out from there, what is best to go forward in your squad. So the team value sitting in a solid spot, guys, at 13.04 mil. I know a lot of the top teams in the top sort of 50, top 100 are sitting closer to 13.5, but we can't win them all considering how we started this year. But let's go down the list and look at our trades from start to finish, and most of them are actually pretty good this year, better than last year. And this is something that I looked at as something that was going to be pretty important to our sides to ensure that we make good trades. And look, we didn't start in the best fashion. What we saw from Lockie Ilias in round 1 suggested that he would be able to have an improved season fantasy-wise, and it didn't work out perfectly. Look, we'll call him that trade in, the Lockie Ilias trade in, where you get like 48% in your test at uni or school, and you go and talk to the dean or you talk to whoever and ask for an exemption or to resit the test, and then you do pass in the end. I think that's what we get from Ilias. He averaged 40 in the time that I brought him in. So you're looking at that price point of 480, and an average of 40 is completely fine. And I think the one of them, the week before I traded him out, I didn't play him. I think he got a 20 odd in that one. But I got a 57, I believe, or 60 out of him in the third week that I owned him, which was a nice score to have. And he gained about 50k in the time that I owned him. So I passed at best. The trade-in of Cartwright, obviously wanting to start with him in round 1 would have been good. But the trade-in in round 2 was a slam dunk. Very happy with his output across that time. Blory at that time, he got the head knock and decided to move him on. Would have been better if we decided to move on to Lau, but I think that's a passable trade out in that point. Brandon Smith at 575 was a good trade out in that one, guys. He didn't hit over 40 for another like 5 or 6 weeks, and probably until just before I brought him back in, maybe 2 weeks before that. But yeah, anyway, both kind of okay trades. From here, I get sad. Tanner Boyd trading out after 2 rounds. So I only had him in there for 2 rounds, and that second one, he kicked the ball out in the full like 4 times and looked disgusting. And since then, he's made 200k, so happy days. Drinkwater wasn't the best guy to start with. I love how I traded out one Cowboys guy for 2 other Cowboys guys. So Robson and Chester come in. Chester was that 3-week play, and he ended up getting another like 5 or 6k in that fourth game that he played, which I didn't obviously start him, but took that cash there. I think he made like 130k, which was like a solid 75% effort on that one. Robson has been a good trade-in just for the fact that I haven't had to worry about my hooking position since then. Obviously, holding Boyd in during this, he didn't score well for a couple more weeks, and then he kind of did really well. But at the time, there was a sound trade-out, given that he wasn't directing traffic like he is now. It was split between him and Foran, and then it's kind of just given the keys to Boyd since then. These round 4 trades, some of my best trades of the year. Egan Butcher, Adam Dewey to Johnson and Lemuelu. They've been instrumental in what we've been able to do in this comeback in my squad. And just remember, guys, after round 2, I was 35,000. After round 3, I was 24,000, and then have improved dramatically since then. Johnson's made a couple 100k since that. Same with Lemuelu, which has been great. Round 5, Dury to Hosking. That was awesome. And then Ilias to Isaiah Katoa. So got him in at 277. A lot of people started with him. I brought him in a little bit later, but he's done a great job and made 160k from my side in that one. Yeah, as I said, with Ilias, I made 56k and a couple of good scores. I think get like a 40 in one of them. He went 26, 40, and then like 57 or something like that, were his 3 games that I played him in my side. So that was fine. But yeah, Dury kind of did his job, made a little bit of cash for us. And these are the first 2 times that I actually saved any trades. So what we'll look at in my strategy in a second, as I spoke about trading hard early, especially if you don't have a great start, which we'll show out now, in that trade hard and early, and it would be the optimal strategy, I think, especially if you didn't start too well. So you want to try and get ahead early is the play in this one, or catch up, either one. Build the team value, which is something that obviously struggled in the first few weeks, and getting all the good cows. That was the perks of that. And I really do think there was enough trades for this type of strategy. So those first bunch of weeks, which I spoke about in the Excel spreadsheet as well, was a strategy 1, use all 10 trades by end of round 6. So if you look at my squad there, I saved 1 in round 5, this is coming into round 5, and then saved another one. So I'd only use 8 in the first, which is not crazy, but yeah, not ridiculous either. I only used 8 in that first 5 rounds, which meant that I hadn't exactly used that strategy, but that meant that by that point I started to create a better side. Duri to Hosking is amazing. Ilias to Katoa has worked out great, and then from there, I decided to, when 3 trades were available in round 7, I used 2. Same in round 8, and then I've done 3, and then we haven't made our trades yet, which you'll see later today. But trade-ins from there, Cartwright had peaked, he made us 300k, which is amazing. Chester out for Teddy and Brown, and Brown's worked out amazing. Teddy's kind of done his job, but it's still gone down in price. Then you've got Hopgood and Suali'i. So Hopgood's, could have ended up holding him, but to facilitate the Joey Manu one, this is the way to get him, and he's been great. McInnes, started okay, and then has got that 67 last week, which was awesome. And Suali'i, thankfully for me, I didn't lose too much cash on him. He kind of started around that price, very up and down for him anyway. From there, round 9 were great trades as well. Warbrick, Katoa, and Haas. Haas has worked out. Obviously, didn't play round 9, got a 50 last week. DeBellin's gone back-to-back 70s. Smith's averaging 47 in his time since we brought him in at 518k. He's already gone up 50 odd. And then Bird is up to 700, but he's gone okay with a 50 and a 40 in his last 2 games for me. Last week, the trade outs were fine. Obviously, Murray and Alamotti were big wins to trade out. Preston got a 60, but I brought in Buller, which was a must-have. And then he had Lukey, who hasn't gone so well, and then Hines. So 2 average ones as trade-ins this week, but I think they'll work out fine. And I'm still going to back Hines for captain in this week upcoming. So now, I have 18 trades left. So we need to look at that, because there is, until we get, I believe it's in round 20, it says. Some people are saying there's a little bit of discrepancy in when we get those extra trades. So we have 26 in total, and that leaves us 17 rounds remaining. So what I'm seeing there is 10 rounds here, or we'll say 9 rounds until round 20, with 18 trades remaining until we get the extra 8. Okay, so almost 2 a week if I were to use all of them in that time. And then once you get them in round 20, you would have 8 rounds left with 8 trades. That's if you went the double each and every week, right? Or close to it, obviously, of the 10 rounds coming up. So there's a lot to think about in terms of your trades. And if you are less than this, obviously 18 coming into this round, if you're less than that, then there's a little bit of an issue. Like if you're sitting at 15, 14, I'm seeing a lot of people sitting at, then I think you will come into some trouble, and you do need to hold trades either this week, next week, over somewhere in the middle of that buy period. But other than that, you can almost go 1 to 2 trades pretty well the whole way. Some weeks do 1, some weeks do none, some weeks do 2 or 3, and you kind of round out to that 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 across each and every week. And I think that's going to be fine, because, think about when you get to your, let's just say you get through till end of round 20, and you've used all of your allotment of trades currently. You then have 7 rounds there, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. 7 rounds there with 8 trades. And by the time you finish round 20, you should be fairly close to your final team. I'd imagine probably 3 to 4 trades there over that next few weeks. So say by the end of round 22, you've used another 4 trades, and you now pretty well have your final team set, or you're pretty happy with it overall. You've gained good team value over this time, and you've got yourself to a position where you have 17 great players, an 18th man that's probably average at best. You have 1 or 2 players that aren't playing that are really cheap, or that could come in and get a 15 or 20 as an auto emergency, something like that if you need it. And you've got 1 or 2 guys there, whichever way you want to play it, as a looping guy, which is going to be cool. So someone who isn't playing each and every week. Awesome. So from that position, you have 4 trades left and 5 rounds remaining. And then all you're doing there is just holding those four trades for any injuries, any suspensions, or if you get to the last sort of 2 or 3 rounds, a big upgrade that could net you another 60 to 100 points. Awesome. That's how you want to play it. And really, that's not a bad strategy at all. And if you look at that, the other kind of strategies there, we look at the middling strategy. You're giving guys 3 dates just to make sure that you're not wasting any trades on anything silly. It really just works perfectly if your team's going along nicely from the start. Yeah, so if you had a cracking team in the first few rounds, you probably saved a couple of trades in that. Maybe round 5 or 6, like myself, you held on to a couple as well. You've probably only triple traded once, and you're sitting around that 20 to 21 trades. Awesome. That's literally the best position you can be in, because you've traded enough to get the right cows. You started with a bunch of good cows as well. You have built the team value whilst holding some trades as well, and you're in the best position possible. You're sitting at about 20 trades remaining, and you're in a great position, as I said, to get all the best guys in, build to maybe an 18 or 19 really good players. Like, that's the kind of the thing here with the team value, is by the end of the season, a lot of coaches will have about 15 to 16 good players, and then 2 average guys, and then maybe one that could get you a 25 or 30 as like your 18th or potentially 19th man. Whereas the best teams in this competition, because they've built good team value, they will get up to that 17, 18 really, really good players, and then the 18th or 19th man, 35 to 40 kind of guy. So they can slot into your team, and you don't have to trade in those weeks. Whereas a lot of time, if you get right to the end and you've used all your trades, you then have to, once the guy goes down for a week, he has a suspension, he has a head knock, whatever happens there, you're going to have to trade him out, because the 55 or whatever he's going to get is replaced by like a 20, and that could really hurt you in the back end. So it's like, oh, do you hold that trade? Do you use it? There's so many things there in that one. Obviously, the strategy in the middle there, conserving early and then going crazy in the middle. This is the kind of strategy I was talking about, where you can load up on guys that probably miss 16. So get all the 13 and 14 guys, a couple of sort of Parramatta players, which is going to work out. You can have a few guys that miss 14, which is going to be cool, whether it's Parramatta, whether it's Manly, whatever kind of team you want to look at there that misses 14. You mix those guys in, so you sort of have like 5 players maybe available in round 16. And then you can trade hard in round 15 and 16 to get up to that 12 to 13 players. That's the conserve early and then crazy in the middle, which means you're going to go really, really good across that time. You'll make sure you get all the best guys in your team in 13 and 14, and then you're trading them out if they have a 16 bye in that one, and you get all the other guns that play that, and then you kind of end up getting towards your best final 17 as you go. So I think all of the strategies, like we outlined here, they're all pretty generic, but mixture of the first one and I think the third one was the play. And the reason I said the trade hard and early is to get the good side going, get the team value, because there are so many trades this year. I think we've traded pretty hard. I've only saved sort of, I don't know, 4 or 5 of the full allotment. And I'm still sitting in a position now where if I make a couple this week, it leaves me with 16, which is the likelihood of what I'm going to do. 1 or 2 trades, likely 2. I'm still in a good position to likely run out of trades, and I'm someone that it has always been more the conservative type of player, sort of in the middle. And this year has been a little bit different. I knew that starting really poorly, I had to go hard, and I've kind of, because I've been making ranks each and every week, my mindset has been just to keep pushing, get the team value up, get the right players in your squad, and then kind of you do hope for a little bit of luck in the back end of the year, sort of around 18, 19, 20, when I'm kind of running out of trades there, to get things right. You're kind of hoping and praying a little bit. There might have to be a week in there we just go, I'll just cop a little bit. Maybe have my 17th guy or 16th guy, not that great, cop the 50 less points and just save those trades. I think that's going to happen at some point. And getting lucky as well. There's some years where we get to the end, and for those like myself that usually conserve trades, there is then just no injuries and suspensions at the end, and everyone pretty much has everyone, and you don't miss out on, you don't go down to like a team of 15 and run out of trades. So that kind of happens a little bit near the end to some people, but they have like an injury or suspension one week, but they have 18 or 19 really good players, and that one guy, and with good cover, and that one guy gets injured, and they still have a good 17. So that's something to think about as well. If you set yourself up right, if you get the right guys in your team, you build the team value, and you get a good side there at all times, which is going to be the winning strategy there. So that's an interesting one there, I thought, in the Word doc. And because as I'm talking about here out loud, this kind of says it here in the third strategy there. You use 7 trades by the end of round 6, so I'd use 8 by that point, and then it's 1.5 per week average till the end of round 12, and then you're using 2 per week all the way to round 25 with 2 left for the final 2 rounds. So that sounds like the ultimate strategy at this point, using sort of anywhere between 1.5 and 2 the whole way, and you kind of probably run out by the end of round 25. This strategy is obviously different to the head-to-head strategy, guys, where you want to keep sort of majority of those 8 trades available from round 20 to be able to make upgrades and to be able to save trades for your semi-finals, your finals there. So keep that in mind, that You obviously don't have to trade hard in 13, 16, 19. And the trades that we would use as overall players in that time, you can hold and you can use those extra ones in at the back end in that strategy there to use them hard at the finish there. So yeah, very, very interesting on all of that front. I just wanted to get rid of that now. And we will go through the teams as well. So I hope that really helped you guys around that and, getting set up for the next bunch of weeks and sort of, the questions around how many trades is enough to hold, how many, am I using too many? Look, if you're down at like 14, 15, I think you have used a little bit too many and you will have to hold at some point. Right now, if I use 2 this week, that's 11 up to round 11 finished and 16 trades remaining. So 8 or 9 rounds left until we get all the trades back. It's almost 2 a week, guys. So that's not too bad there. So yeah, don't be too stressed about using your trades. We do get that 8 extra, which is really nice. So that's that. All right, let's go into the 5 teams I want to speak about. And guys, if you do want your team analyzed, best way to do it is in team analysis in the Discord. If you haven't jumped in the Discord yet, link is in the description. Do this here. So print out your screenshot your team here on the computer and then just write on the side. If you're not sure how to do that, just Google it. It will come up. Some people do the actual written ones themselves on the board, or some of you can just type obviously there. So this is a team, a few of these teams we have analyzed before. So if you want your team done, I will look for new ones. And if they're not there, I'll use these guys. And he said congrats on your sweet team. So, he buttered me up, didn't he? First 13, the Fs. Thoughts are to hold forward, bank more trades and use Brandon Smith as cover for rounds 11 and 12. Definitely can, mate. Up to you, though. You have 20 trades, so I suggest, if you want to, you can use those trades. Not keen on playing BM, but probably will do BM to Fade like everyone else next week. Or is there anyone else I can get under 343k? There's not a lot. Like Billy Smith at 360 would have been good. We'll have to general thoughts on how this team looks going into the bye period. Reynolds a hold, Preston a hold, Hosking a hold, Grant a hold. Yes. Hope you rip and tear this week. Thank you very much. All right, let's look at the squad. Overall there, I think, the starting 13, you don't want to touch. Drinkwater's already in. Lukey, Boyd, Perham, and then it's Murdoch Masila. So holding Katoa, Nikorima, Lemuelu, and Ford have 38k in the bank. Yeah, I completely understand. If you're happy holding Ford and you'll get Lemuelu back, you get Nikorima back and Katoa back next week, and all of those guys could be players in your squad. You don't have Sean Johnson, so that helps for next week. Then I think it's fine to hold Ford because next week you'll have the correct squad and then you have Ford for round 13. So if you want to do that, I think that's fine. And you hope Murdoch Masila comes out and gets a 20 odd. Could get a 15 or 14 like you got last week. But if you're fine doing that, then maybe you trade pretty hard coming into sort of round 13 there. You have the few Cowboys guys. You may need to move on from 1 or 2 of Grant, Haas, Cleary. You don't have Teddy, which is good. Yeah, probably one of those guys I think you move on coming into 13 because, you do have a few guys that aren't playing, but you also have, Drinky, Miller, Bird, Reynolds, Madison as the 5, and then Lukey, Perham, 7, and then you got Lem, Nikorima, probably only use 1, you can only use one of those 2. Yes, you're sitting at sort of like 10 players, which is fine. And yeah, with your extra trades that you've got, you can just use them once you get to round 13. That works well. The Revilos Raptors need some help as not much has gone right the last few weeks. You're not ranked too bad last week, man. But yeah, 2,151. Ford to JB, Hammer to Carl Oluwapu. It's okay. You've got Oluwapu, Sonny, Luke, and Talau. That's the worry. You have got 101k in the bank. So, yeah. If there's a way you can go someone else other than DeBellin, it might be too hard to get JDB just because he's a little bit too expensive. Yeah, because hopefully one of the 3 duds can score a 20 odd this week and probably do Luke to Val next week. Yeah, you can do that. I just don't really like getting a 3, and I understand Luke to Val next week can work, but you've got hosts on your in your number 3 interchange. Each and every week you're going to be playing sort of one of those pretty crap guys, so this is something to think about. Only have 1 half being Katoa. Do you reckon it's too late to get SJ? Definitely not too late to get SJ. You might have to move on from one of Cleary or Hines at that point, just because this bench is pretty poor, like the emergency. So that's what I'd be looking at in this squad, mate. Just as potentially, obviously, the 101k in the bank. And you go Sonny, Luke to anyone else this week, to Oluwapu rather than going Hammer, and you can hold on to the Hammer. I understand that he's the guy that could potentially be a sell, but you're now sitting there with Lemuelu is the only cover. And Buller there, like, you're going to be happy to play Buller every week, or is he going to be out of your team for next week? I understand why you're getting rid of Hammer. The cover is there. It's just that emergencies, which I'd look to sort out over the next few weeks. We have someone in the top 31. Black Pasta, 31st overall. 21 trades remaining. This is just rude. Come on, mate. You can't be that good. Great start. Good start to the year. Appreciate all the help. Yeah, you have absolutely smashed it, mate. Best mid under 630. I hate the 630 range because where I'm at, that's where I'm at with forward. I think I'm at 640. Best mid under that price. You got Paseka, I think is okay. You obviously want Tohu at 20k above that. So Paseka's going to score the best, I think, and then it's down to Totola, down to Flegler, those kind of guys, which isn't really ideal. I'm going to need a mid this week because of Ford's absence. Otherwise, I have to play Sele for 2 weeks. So I'm thinking of trading Ford and someone to get a gun mid. Okay, who would you be trading out though? That is the question mark, because all of the guys in your starting side are good. You do need that mid though. So I really would prioritize getting a good one, like you said. Maybe you're definitely not holding. You're definitely selling Sele. It's bringing in Tolf this week, worth it, knowing he has a bye next week. Well, you need a mid that plays the next few weeks, so you can't do it, unfortunately. Do you have to get rid of Ikatoa? Do you have to go for Katoa early? Do you have to go for Preston? You probably have to go for Ikatoa and downgrade him. But again, you have Sele, you have Talau. So that's something to think about. Just not going to too many cheapies. And then you got Tafade you might want next week. So, to be honest, it might just be Ford straight swap to like a Paseka, who plays 13, plays 16, and can help you out over that time. But yeah, up to you on that one. If you want to just go to Tola, if you want to just go to Flegler, you can do all of that as well. And then bank cash next week to go a downgrade to Tafade, or you can go Talau up to Tafade if you don't want to get rid of Katoa, which I think you should hold on to him given he's your only half option. So maybe you just bank the cash this week and then go Talau up. That could be the play for you, Black Pasta. All right, 2 to go. All right, it's got 935 points last week. Could have been over 1,000 for Captain Cleary. Sticking with Hunt, yeah, it happened to all of us. 21 trades left as well. Expecting a bounce back game. Yep, have 10 players for round 13 pre-trades. These trades don't help the situation for round 13. I think the 10's fine, man. You got heaps of trades. You can make those trades next week. Thoughts for trades are Ford to Horsburgh, Thompson to Oluwapu. Isaac Thompson, I hope. And if it is so, great. Oh yeah, there he is down there in the bottom. Lock them in. Beautiful. Smith, I'm just a little bit worried if he actually plays this week. So I think he'll be fine. But yeah, that's that. And then you got Moses sitting in the emergency. So if you can get through this team, this round with Moses on the bench, with Katoa and Lemuelu, then you've done well. So that stops you from playing, obviously, 40, which he's out. He would come in for Hors, and then Oluwapu. Yeah, you probably have to play Oluwapu, which I think is fine. I'd rather do that over Menok Masilla anyway. So team's looking good, man. Well done. And then the last one. Thanks for help last week on the trades. Yeah, so this guy sent his team in last week, and we helped him out a bit. Got a good rank in round 11 of 3,967. Last week's trades were good. Murray, Warbrick, Hammer, Hines, Buller, Horsburgh. Yeah, Horsburgh, great. They're all great trade-ins. Just didn't work out for poor Hinesy, but that is fine. He captained him and still went well. Really need an edge, but I have no idea who to target to do that effectively. The 3 outs I would happily do is Ford, Burton, Couchman, but who to? Ford to Hopgood, Burton to Oluwapu, Couchman to TPJ. Oh, I can't do TPJ right now. He's close, but I can't do it right now. I think Khan Pereira is closer to a trade out. Obviously, Couch would be great if you can. And he just might have to get Oluwapu. Then, secondly, I think you'll have to play Granville or Khan Pereira this week. I think would be... Oh, and you've got Lemuelu in the edge as well. Whew, tough. You do need an edge. Okay, I get you. Good edge then. Who we want? I think Hopgood, yeah, it's a great trade-in. Ford to Hopgood, Katoa to Cotter. Because plays Origin, he should go straight to Robson or Eels half. That's fine. I don't really like getting rid of Burton, but we do have Cleary, Hines, Katoa, Nikarima. Yeah, so Burton can go. Oh, and Boyd. Yeah, okay, Burton can go. That's fine. Let's use him as a trade out then. He hasn't been great at all, and Boyd's been absolutely killing it. So 9k in the bank. Burton, you need a edge. Yeah, let's go to Hopgood. So Burton to Hopgood, straight up. Couchman to Oluwapu. That works. And then you could just do the 2, really. Because then that would still give you a 17. Just. Granville will come up. Khan Pereira will come up. I don't really like the TPJ one. So if you can come up with a different guy, that's sort of mid-range, but there's really not a lot. So maybe just the 2 trades this week and then go for it from there. My man Tubbsy Maloney. Thanks heaps, guys, for checking into this video. I think that was a very helpful one based around trade strategy. And looking forward into the next few rounds. So thank you for that. And the trades video will come out very soon.